Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas, and good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and to every nook and cranny receiving our 100,000 watt transmitter on that little magical box of the past called the radio. And of course, good morning to the rest of the world who listens to us through the magic of the internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by whom again? You the people, not the billionaires, you the people. Before I get started, I have a quasi-apology, and the reason I call it a quasi-apology is because at the end of the show yesterday, there was one of our daily callers called Brian. He said that I cut him off and I treated him differently. I want to tell everybody I went ahead and re-listened to it, and I think Brian has a point in that I cut him off too quick and it was a bit of implicit bias on my part based on the subject that he was talking about. So to Brian, my apologies, and I hope you call in today and we can have our little chat, our little talk, etc. Anyway, folks, before we get started, we're having a full show, but do remember that we have just started our fund drive. Again, this is not going to be as long as the former fund drive, which means we want to collect a lot of dinero, mucho dinero, a lot of money early and quickly, for which I'm going to ask you so kindly to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute to the program. We'd like to start early. We have a good show for you. Please, por favor, be a part of keeping us on air. These are very, very important times now, and the one thing we want to be is informed in these times. So before we get started with Brother Aquino, it's Thursday, Aquino Day. Before we get started, I want to go to the real people that make this thing happen in the studio. El Señor Howard and El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Bibba. Hey, how you doing, brothers?
Well, we're still looking for those guys, and so are the police. Well, it's the first day of Fund Drive, folks, and it's very important that you donate to us and keep us alive, because we need your funding to keep us alive here. And we've also got special guest Sandy Wyman on the line too. Sandy, good morning. Can you hear me now? It's going to sound like a Sprint commercial.
I hope I can. I think I did.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone.
There we go.
As was noted, it is Fund Drive, our summer cruise, and we invite you to look at kpft.org or our Facebook page. There's lots of good tickets available at this point because we just started. Our summer cruise is described on that website. And again, we invite you to take a look at that. Just some nice thank you gifts for your donation. Once again, this drive, our anonymous and very generous donor has agreed that if you sign up as a sustainer, your pledge will be matched with a $50 bill. So if you can afford to give us as little as $5 a month, that's a $60 a year pledge. That'll turn into a $110 donation to KPFT. I encourage all to possibly, if you're going to make a donation, look at joining us as a sustainer, as nearly 1,300 of your friends and neighbors have already done. And good morning all, including those hounded by the police.
Hey, Sandy, are you one of those that's been hounded by the policeman?
No, but I did go to an LSP meeting last night.
Oh, that's worse.
Oh
You
Lord,
should-
you know what? I'm happy I had something else that I had to do last night. But hey, that's cool. I hope you had fun.
Laundry's important. Clean clothes, vital. I get you. I feel you.
Anyway, so Jack, brother Jack, talk to me.
Good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I am doing fine, sir.
Okay, listen, something amazes me every time I see it, and when I read this, you'll know what I mean. Clean energy overtakes coal. As the old decays and withers, the new overtakes the old. Have you ever seen those big wind generator fan blades being transported down the freeway? Amazing. I'm always in awe when I see one. Now the target is to overtake is big oil. Next target.
You know what is so amazing? I've seen a lot of these. You know, when if I'm riding to California or something like that, and you see all of those things going out to West Texas, it's amazing. And do you know that we kind of a lot of people look at Texas a lot of times like we're troglodytes, but it's amazing because we are the number one, from the last report that I saw, the number one generator of wind energy. And we have a whole lot of these farms out there making a lot of electricity. Man, the thing is possible. That you overtake coal is no easy feat. I mean, it's a big thing. But before we get started, we have in the house with us today el señor Neil Aquino. ¿Cómo estás, mi hermano? How are you doing, my brother?
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, vast audience. And it's another great day in Houston and all over.
Yeah, we want to get started. So anyway, folks, like I said, while we're talking with Neil about some very important local occurrences through this week, please go ahead and start giving us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, or go to kpft.org and go ahead and hit that donate button. And in the name of politics done right, remember though, everything goes to KPFT. We're just a conduit. In the name of politics done right, give us whatever you can. And we have some great offers that we have for you. First of all, I want to remind you that what we would love for people to do right now is, as you call, become what we called sustaining members. And think about it this way. You know the election is coming up. You know there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. And you know that in our program here, everybody gets the opportunity to say their piece, and we get an opportunity to tell the truth. We get the opportunity to listen to other voices, and at the same time, keep us informed that we can make sound decisions. Is it worth a coffee a month to support that? $5 a month. Is it worth 2 coffees a month if you have a little bit more extra bucks in your pocket? Is it worth 3 coffees a month? So I want to ask you, before we get into Neil have some important stuff to discuss today. I want to ask you to call 713-526-5738 and tell them, I want to sustain this station that I listen to every morning, that I listen to every day, that gives me food for thought. I want to do that. So please, we need to collect this show to stay on air. Need to collect, I don't know, somewhere between $300 to $500 a day for the duration of this fund drive. So you can start us out with a $5 a month contribution, a $10 a month contribution, or a $15 a month contribution. And you see that guy that came on earlier, that guy that says his name is Sandy, that's a manager of the station, he probably won't go ahead and say, hey, now we're going to cut the umbilical cord of politics done right. I'm exaggerating a bit here because, but what I'm saying, please go ahead and call us at 713-526-5738, extension 1. Become a sustainer. We have some other offers we're going to talk about later on. But the one that I'm asking you to do right now is to become a sustainer. And a sustainer at $5 a month that you won't even feel. It's like giving us a coffee a month. $10 a month, it's like giving us a couple of coffees a month. And it's worth it. And you come to our program every day and we give you food for thought. You get a complete program that I prepare every single night with a newsletter every single night. We take that seriously for you. For all of us, that is. So I ask you so kindly to give us a call. 713-526-5738. Brother Neil Aquino. Let's get started with CD18. Sheila Jackson Lee, one of our strongest politicians in this area, sadly
Right.
passed away rather
Right.
quickly. I mean, hurt to the core. I've spoken to her and interviewed her several times. She has a wonderful daughter who's been on the school board that we worked with. She passed away, and we got her replacement. This precinct chairs voted on that. Tell me a little bit about what you found out.
Right. So people understand the process. The precinct chairs in Congressional District 18, which is a very multiracial area, voted. So there's about 245 potential precinct chairs in that area. There's only about 88 seats filled, and 80 people showed up. So it's the smallest electorate. Sylvester Turner has made a career of winning a low turnout election. So this was kind of a dream come true, an 80-person electorate for him. And these people came and voted and selected Sylvester Turner to complete the term. Now, there's also in November another election coming up that will complete the remaining 2 months. These things are confusing. Will complete the remaining 2 months of the Congresswoman's term. And the daughter that Egberto just referenced, Erica, so she's going to run in that one. Mayor Turner isn't. And so that's the other thing. So someone's going to fill out. So this was for the 2-year term beginning in January. Mayor Turner says he's going to run maybe 2 terms at most. That's what he says. He's recovered from cancer. That's his story. I hope that's true. And Amanda Edwards, who has run for mayor, Congresswoman Jackson Lee's seat in the United States Senate, in addition to her 1 term of council, a 4-year term of council, was the opponent. And so in the first round, I watched this on a live stream on Facebook. In the first round, she had the lead close to the majority, but didn't have a majority. There was a roll call vote. There's different ways that the chair could have done it. There was a roll call vote. So you heard all these precincts named: Smith, Ramirez, Jones. Who do you vote for? And they would call out. And then, so it was Edwards, Turner got almost all the votes. But Councilwoman Letitia Plummer got 5 of the 80 votes, and State Representative Christina Morales got 2 of the 80 votes. And I think Jarvis Johnson got 1. And because Jarvis hadn't lost a race in a while. So he was back to that. And, or at least 6 weeks. And so there was this, and Christina Morales, this has been worth noting. So this was Mickey Leland's district. This was Congresswoman Jackson Lee's district, but districts change. And so the district is 44% Latino, 33% Black, and about 20% white. This is, in fact, not a plurality or majority Black district. And Christina Morales was getting some heat for running as a Latina in what is seen as a Black seat. But it is a very multiracial seat with Latino population the highest, and then, as is sometimes the case, not the highest voting percentages. So it looked like Edwards was going to win. It felt like, just sitting at my kitchen table watching, Edwards had the momentum. But then in the second round, they didn't do the roll call. They divided the room. So you stood here if you were for Edwards, stood there if you were for Turner. The top 2 made the runoff. And I'm not saying there was anything untoward about it, but it was odd to me that they switched the why switch the process? Why
So that everybody
change?
could see who was voting when
Yeah.
officially, right? Yeah.
And so Turner won, and I had to process.
By 4 votes.
As I understand, yeah, she won by like four votes, and I was a little surprised. But then, as I just I had 1 or 2 conversations, and I looked at some of the threads and chats and things that I'm in. That the feeling among so Plummer is progressive, the most progressive member of Houston City Council, and the feeling was, let Turner sit there for 2 or 4 years and take another crack at the district. So if you were progressive and wanted a progressive, Edwards is not progressive. It's hard to pin her down on any position. She works hard. She may be a decent person, but you can't pin her down on really anything. So
when I interviewed her, she refused to talk and say anything about Medicare for all and some other progressive tenets that we deem very important. So that I want to then switch over to.
Let me just wrap. Just take 20 seconds. So if you wanted Plummer, you wanted the progressive, you wanted to wait, and if you wanted Morales and you wanted a Latino shot at the district, wait 2 or 4 years. And I think that's what cost. I think if Edwards had been progressive, actually, she might have won some of those Plummer votes. But the feeling was, let's just hold off.
Right. Okay, I got you. It's interesting. Now, there's another subject we want to talk about, and that is the ordinance that the ordinance that is specifically made for Whitmire, even though
Right.
he balks when you mention it. But before we do that, I want to do our ask real quickly, folks. We are in Fund Drive, but we're still giving you a full program minus the time that we pitch. We pitch less if we can get those calls to start coming in, or those pledges made online. So please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute. It is important that we start getting these sustainers. So please, again, $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. And you know what? You won't even feel it, but you would be a member of the KPFT team that gives you a part of the governorship of this station. I had a call a few days ago with somebody complaining, and I wanted to ask that person that was complaining, are you a member of the team that can actually make decisions? Why don't you go ahead and become a part of the team? Become a sustainer. 713-526-5738, extension number 1. I want to welcome Allison Dreams in the chat, as well as Billy, Allison Irwin in the chat, as well as Eric Hayes. By the way, Allison, Eric is a contributor. Eric actually bought a have coffee with Egberto, which is a $250 contribution to our station. And thank you for that, Eric, for the last fund drive, for having done that. Let's go ahead and throw it now to Sandy. Come on in, Sandy El Mane General.
I have hope I'm there.
Yes, you're here.
Thank you, Egberto. Yep, we're still looking for that first pledge this morning. And let me just mention that, again, we have a full deck of tickets that have been donated by many venues around town. I'm just going to give you a couple of these that you might consider for a thank you gift as a donation to KPFT. Again, we're looking for that first pledge of our summer cruise here. We need to get this cruise going forward. The Cullen Theater, the Wortham Center, beautiful venue, on September 18th. Live Dead and Brothers will be there. These are descendants of the Allman Brothers. An original member of the Grateful Dead, Tom Constantin, will be playing keyboards that night. And we have 5 pair of tickets available for a $150 pledge this morning. If you would like dinner and a show, we have that too. You can go to the Do-Si-Do. Let me see if I can find that and pick up tickets for a number of different shows. Let me see if I can get to the right location here on this massive ticket list that our Susan Darrow has put together. This is quite a treat here. If you would like, you can see Riders in the Sky. We have 3 pair of tickets. Stanley Jordan, 3 pair of tickets again. Ricky Skaggs, the Gatlin Brothers, and the Mike Zito Band. All comes complete dinner and a show for 2. So that's another way to celebrate KPFT. Those concert dates are between Friday the 13th, hey, what could go wrong, and November 16th. So you have 5 opportunities, 5 different shows to possibly say thank you for your donation. And again, you can pay for these tickets if you'd like, or if you can make that donation as a sustainer. Break it up into monthly pieces. For instance, if you want dinner and a show, and the ticket costs $180 or the pair, well, do it at $15 a month as a sustainer and you get to go to that show. Or that would be a good example of how to make this maybe more reasonable for people and help KPFT in a huge way. 2 ways. Number 1, your pledge is going to be matched with a $50 bill. When you say sustainer, put $50 on top of it, thanks to an anonymous, very generous donor. And after attending that board meeting last night, a few more board members will be chiming in. So it's at least a $50 match, perhaps much more. So folks, that's the easiest way to fund KPFT. We have a $75,000 goal that we're trying to accomplish by a week from Sunday. And thanks to those that have renewed their sustaining memberships and have donated already in August, we've already collected nearly $15,000, so about 60 to go. 713-526-5738 or kpft.org and click donate. One other mention, Nuri Nuri. Master of the Blues, big boss man of the blues, will be hosting a summer sail, a cruise on Clear Lake on the 28th of September. There's room for you. Make a donation at the $12.50 a month and get a ticket. That would be a sustaining membership. $12.50 a month gets you on board for a 3-hour tour of Clear Lake. That's right, a 3-hour tour. We know about boat rides and 3-hour tours. They turn into TV shows in some cases. In this case, it's just going to be a 3-hour great boat ride with a fun afternoon with Nuri, and a good way to come out and celebrate KPFT with like-minded individuals on a pontoon boat, 75-person pontoon boat on Clear Lake. Again, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. If you do sign up for that cruise, we say thank you. A pair of tickets, by the way, $275. You can chop that up into monthly donations as well. Please become a sustainer. 713-526-5738. Please be the first to donate this morning to our summer cruise. Egberto.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sandy. In the chat, we have Billy Ellison Irwin, Alizarin Dreams, and also Eric Hayes. And guess what, folks? They are all in the chat, supporters of Politics Done Right. One of them was telling the other one, hey, you are here every day. You need to support the program. And the other one said, oh, I'm already a sustainer. Then the other one says, I'm a sustainer too. And of course, Eric comes out and says, hey, I donated. I did a coffee with Egberto. So folks, it's look, we have fun. You see that we're a serious program, but we are a respectful program. We make sure to get you real data, real information, real truths. So why don't you give us a call now? 713-526-5738. For those of you that are just joining, I know a lot of you don't wake up until 6:25 and 6:30, and then you call in and say, why don't you give me more time? Well, you're calling in late, brother, sister. Come on. Anyway, but give us a call. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 1 to contribute. And again, please consider becoming a $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month sustainer, whichever one. 1 coffee, 2 coffees, 3 coffees a month. It'll really get it. Now, I am at a big zero right now. I've got to raise between $300 and $500 a day. So I'm asking you so kindly, could we start? Now, we have thousands of listeners. If I take a look at the listener sheets, we have a whole lot of listeners. I can ask you to please, let's join up and get this stuff rolling. Anyway, El Señor Aquino, I started this program without telling people what it's supposed to be about. The 3 subjects we're supposed to talk about today is 1, what Jack started with. That is the green energy that we went ahead and we are now producing more green energy than energy from coal. The second one was I wanted to tell everybody to ignore neoliberal economists as well as the mainstream media when it comes to how they interpret inflation. I gave a complete 14-minute expose using data of what inflation really is, how it really came about, and it's not what you think. So I'm not going to have the time to play that video. But of course, you can get, where I keep my videos, etc. with this. That was one of the topics of the program. And of course, the third topic of the program is our brother Aquino, who has a lot of the local information. So Aquino, tell me a little bit about this ordinance that isn't going to go through because of the work that you did and many others did to squash it.
Right. So, Ryan, this work was part of my Houston Democracy Project efforts. A lot of people did it. So Mayor Whitmire has still proposed an ordinance. I call it the Anti-First Amendment Ordinance that would prohibit protest at specific homes. So I could not go to Egberto's home and protest him. Now, of course, under Texas law, I could go down a residential street with an AR-15. That'd be fine. But I can't stop at Ted Cruz's house with a sign. And the mayor is esteemed because Palestinian protesters have been going to his house. Now, the issue keeps getting focused back on the Palestinian protesters. To me, it has nothing to do with a specific group. If it had been right-wing protesters outside of Mayor Whitmire's house, I'd have the same position. So you cannot go under the ordinance, which was yesterday brought to council. There was a public session Tuesday. Anyone can go to council on Tuesdays at 2 and speak, you should sign up by Monday at noon the day before. And I spoke at council against the ordinance that would prohibit people from protesting at people's homes. And I thought it was going to pass. And I'd spoken to a council member, and that council member thought it was going to pass. I thought it was going to pass 13-4, 14-3, and I was just wrong. So at the very beginning at 9 o'clock, the agenda session, they call it, begins every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. You can watch it on HTV. The HTV feed through Facebook is sometimes the easiest way to watch it. And he tabled it right off. He sent it to committee right off. I was surprised. And there was some discussion. So the opposing views had been led by Plummer, who we just referenced, Councilwoman Thomas from A-Leaf, Council Member Pollard. And as it turned out, there was more opposition. And the Republican at-large council member, Julian Ramirez, he goes by Julian, not Julian, seemed opposed to. I'm not going to. It's true. It's a true story. And he seems opposed too. He seems opposed. He seemed reticent. So there was some discussion. Martha Castix Tatum, who's the mayor pro tem, she's the second leading. When Mayor Whitmire leaves the council table, or if he's out of town, she presides. She's against it too. So they seem to have real First Amendment concerns. And I was heartened that there was some autonomy from the mayor. And he goes, he goes, rah, 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 he goes on. And then he held a press conference. We have a new police chief and a new fire chief. Fire Chief Munoz and Police Chief Diaz. And I just want to take a 10-second diversion. I'm reading a story about Police Chief Diaz. And he talked about, Diaz said, serving the community runs in his family. His dad walked aside, a civil rights activist. Of course, he was a union activist, Cesar Chavez. So they always got a story like that. So just remember that, folks. All right. So when you're protesting, Cesar Chavez would unionize the farm workers, great boycotts, lettuce boycotts. So just remember, I'm sure it's a new great day at HPD. But then the mayor held a press conference with Munoz and Diaz and said that the protesters are being paid by Iran, right? They're being paid by Iran. Now, it is in fact conceivable that there is some money in the United States coming from Iran. It's conceivable. But what is not happening is that those protesters, predominantly young, are getting paid by Iran. They are, the way Whitmire was making it sound like, yeah, they're coming to my house and then, they're going to get their check. And that is not what's happening. Those young folks believe it. And what Mayor Whitmire, since he's a poor source, also Vice Mayor Castix Tatum said, was that people are reaching out to them privately saying they're concerned by these protesters. Now, again, this is a larger First Amendment issue. This is not, you can't go to Ted Cruz's house. Ted Cruz can take part in insurrection, but you can't stand outside his house with a sign. And it may well be. It could be. So Mayor Whitmire kept referencing pastors, synagogues, and mosques. And he's always talking about religion and cops. That when on Houston Avenue, if you remember one of his first controversies, it was a church that wanted him to undo the street improvements. So there you have it. So he's saying, and what really concerns me is now beyond the attacks on the First Amendment, he's setting up a climate, and he was with the police chief when he said this. So he's saying local law enforcement's telling me this, Homeland Security. So the police chief supposedly says Chavez's follower. He's sitting there, and how are we going to police these Palestinian protesters? He's ginning them up as like terrorist sympathizers. They are some 20-somethings. I don't say that derisively. They are some 20-somethings. They are not looking to, and there has been no incident of violence. What there's been is police violence, if you remember, at the University of Texas encampment. And Mayor Whitmire, just showing you where he's coming from, he's conflating all these issues. He's saying they're coming to homes. And then he mentions in the same breath how they wanted to set up an encampment at the University of Houston. And it's like, what the hell does that have to do with that? So, upshot, the ordinance failed. It goes to the Law and Public Safety Committee on September 10th. The chairwoman of that is Amy Peck, who's a Republican. I always like to point out that there are 6 council Republicans who every day have the opportunity to say they don't support Trump. And the threats of violence if he loses, dictatorship if he wins. So I'm wary of every council Republican. She tries to put herself out as moderate. She has that option to distance herself. But upshot, it failed. It didn't have the votes. It went to committee. We'll see where it goes.
Well, I think it's something that we better have a watchful eye on, because that ordinance is, as we discussed before, is a dangerous ordinance, and more than ever, it is. I don't like to say this, but it's a danger to people who others may not like. The biggest thing about it is, yeah, you could patrol with an AR-15 in front of the mayor's office, but not with a blank sign or even no sign at
That's
all.
right.
So it makes absolutely no sense.
I want to, and that's, I mean, I'm glad you were right. We talked about that, a blank sign. And there was a situation, I think, I remember in Kazakhstan, where people had been so limited in their freedom, they were standing with blank pieces of paper and being arrested for that. And you
But
could not.
the ordinance as written, they just have to think that you're
Right.
protesting. You don't even have to have not even a blank sign is not
Yes.
necessary. If you read that
Right.
ordinance, it's a dangerous piece of material that ordinance is.
And
And
it's Judaism because it allows the language. I'm paraphrasing, but it allows a person. They use the term in control of a residence. So the ordinance, it's about a home.
hey, let me stop you right there because I have to give some kudos to two great people right now. I need to make sure if I can call a name first, but I want to thank so kindly. Let's see, like the needs a vote to be sent to him. All right, I want to thank Brian so kindly for your contribution. I'll also like to thank Andres for your contribution. Andres is from Magnolia and Brian is from Houston. And let
Right.
me get Brian onto the phone right now. Brian, come on into the phone, my friend. Hey, Brian, Brian, before you even start talking, did you listen to the show at the beginning?
Did I hear what?
Did you hear my show when I started?
No, I didn't.
Well, I actually made an apology to you at the start of the show from yesterday because what I thought it was a bit of implicit bias on my part when I cut you off. But anyway, make your point.
Okay, I'm not a computer guy at all, but it took me less than 10 minutes to find out that the program between Elon Musk and Donald Trump was hacked through Roger Stone's email. I'm not a computer guy, and it took me less than 10 minutes to find this out. And you said that Trump lied, okay? I'm not an oil and gas person, but you said that the governor of Texas lied to the people when he said that the gas freezes. Gas doesn't freeze, man. Natural
All
gas
right.
does not freeze. It takes like
All right.
400. There you go. Go ahead.
All right, great. Okay, Brian, wrong and wrong again. I love you, brother, but you're wrong and you're wrong again. What I said is that the reason that it didn't work, meaning the message that Elon Musk told the world is that they got hacked, meaning the system got hacked. And I was telling you, the system did not get hacked. I repeat, the system did not get hacked. Now, if Trump's individual computer got hacked or some, that's a different story altogether, and that also shows the incompetence of the people on Trump's side if his computer got hacked. With respect to gas, my brother, I'm an engineer, sir. I understand at what temperature CH4 freezes, which is methane. Okay, but here's the thing: what froze, Brian? I made you talk, my brother. Come on, it's my time. Okay, now. What froze was the equipment which was not weatherized. The equipment froze. It wasn't the windmills or anything like that. It was the gas equipment that froze. It's not a question. You can find that all over which equipment froze and why it is now that weatherization is what we're doing with the gas distribution system. That's all, Brian. And those are statements of fact. I know you're not a computer guy, but yes, you can find that search as well. What else, Brian?
Okay, at what temperature does natural gas freeze?
I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's not. But it's not the natural. Brother, it's not the natural.
Yes,
We're not talking about brother. It's not the natural gas freezing we're talking about. It's the equipment freezing. The equipment that turns can ice up. Not that the natural gas has turned to solid, but the equipment itself, because of water vapor and all these other things, will freeze, which is what occurred. Continue.
You said two things: that it was not hacked, and I found out less than 10 minutes that it was hacked.
All right.
You said that the gas froze in the pipeline, which shut down the system. Now you've changed your mind. You said it's the windmills that shut down due to weatherization.
No, I didn't say windmill. I said the gas pump. I said the gas equipment froze. If you want, I can go pull the tapes for you, Brian. But I tell you what, we are in fun drive. But let me ask you first of all, was I fair with you today?
No, not really. Because I mean, you let people ramble on. You let people ramble on. Johnny has called this program numerous times, twice. and you never cut him off because you agree with him. And this is what makes this program different. I get to call in and ruffle the feathers of left-wing nut jobs for $20. Everybody else.
No, wait,
Do it.
Brian, I don't only cut you up. One of the issues, and this is what Howard confirmed with me, because again, I take it seriously that I want everybody's voice. And you know that deep down inside, you damn well know that. Now, a lot of times you call very late, okay? This time, look at the time. You called a little bit earlier than normal, Brian. But hold on. I did listen to the program afterwards because I do that as I'm processing it. And I want to be fair on all sides because I want everybody to feel that this is their program. And I was short with you on that particular day, and I apologized. And it was a sincere apology. So anything else you want to tell me?
No, I just wish everybody else to donate also.
Oh, well, thank you. I love you, brother.
you.
All right, Brian, anything else before I need to cut you off? I need to raise some money, man.
Yeah, I know. That's
All
what
right.
makes this program.
Thank you,
Donation,
brother.
anything,
All right. You have a
makes
great...
it work.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And
So,
give us Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Natural gas freezes at 295 degrees below zero. I had no idea. But natural gas freezes at 295 degrees below zero. That's something.
Yeah, it's cold, but the thing about it was the equipment that needed
Right.
weatherization.
I just had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. And remember, this is your show. You see, Brian calls it. Also, that is Brian who just gave another contribute. Hey, thank you, Brian. I guess I didn't piss him off too badly. Good job. Anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Here's what I'm asking of you, my brothers. Please consider becoming a sustainer. $5 a month is a coffee. Neil, isn't a coffee something that you won't even miss if you give somebody a coffee a month?
That's right. It's a coffee. And let me if I've frozen up here. Let me say that this show is very well done. That Egberto and I will prep for about 25 minutes before I come on the air. If I state a fact, he'll ask me, what's the basis of that fact? Makes clear, that if we have a topic and the callers want to take it a different way, that we'll take it that way. So even off the air is the emphasis is on facts being correct, or respect and appreciation of the callers. I know I'm very appreciative of passing muster and of Egberto allowing me to be here on Thursdays. I'm a member, and I encourage you to donate. This show is the real deal. And Egberto's off-air ethic and words match exactly what you hear on air.
Thank you so kindly, brother. Anyway, give us a call, folks. 713-526-5738, extension 1 to contribute. Let's do $5 a month or $10 a month or $15 a month, whatever you can. Support the show. Before I go to David, let me throw it to Sandy, and then we'll come right back.
Thank you, Egberto, and thank you, Brian. That's right. You get to call in. Everybody gets to call in, no matter your slant on today's politics or your views. You can express them here on Community Radio KPFT. We've been around for 54 and a half years at this point without one single commercial. For those of you just finding this community station, it's been around since 1970. All powered by volunteers as it is today. I'm the interim general manager. I too largely volunteer, getting compensation for gasoline each week, basically driving up and down the freeway going downtown, which I will be doing a little later this morning. We have a whole myriad of volunteers. Jack Van Bever is in this morning, and Howard is in. Howard's our one employee. We've cut this to the bone so that we can continue this grand experiment in Houston, this free speech platform, places where we can get together and have a dialogue, even if it's a little uncomfortable. It's a dialogue. These are words that we speak to each other and possibly provide a bit of understanding that wasn't there before, a bit of knowledge that wasn't there before. And through this process, this is how we find compromise. This is how we find peace. This is an essential platform to reach those goals. 54 and a half years ain't no joke, and it is no mistake. Please join us with your phone call, 713-526-5738. 5738, option 1, or mouse it over to KPFT.org and click donate. You can take a look at the ticket list and all the wonderful premiums that we have this time around. Again, big thanks to Susan Darrow for getting the tickets together, and to Robin Lewis, who keeps us organized, and to Rico Hernandez, who will be in a little while to man the boards as we head toward Utah, for designing our summer cruise t-shirt. You want to take a sail? Well, put it on a t-shirt and show everybody you support KPFT. Again, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Coffee beans, Caroline Street. Coffee beans from Lola Savannah, and a mug. $10 a month sustainer. Come on, $50 match on top of that. All sustaining memberships will be matched with at least a $50 bill. Please join that program. It's making a huge difference in being able to manage KPFT, and nobody already told you, this is an 11-day fund drive. 11 days, that's all we got. Very short, sweet, and get out. We don't want to take up time away from valuable programs like Politics Done Right, with our call to or our need for funding, and it just exists. Those bills in the universe exist. It's a $52,000 a month proposition, and all we're asking of you is that you contribute your fair share. There's no bill in the mail. There's no one calling you. There's no one knocking at your door to get you to contribute. This is voluntary on your part. So please do consider that call, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. You can peruse our thank you gifts and click donate and make that donation. Brian, thank you. Andres, thank you very much for becoming our first sustainer this morning and officially of this drive, and getting matched with a $50 bill for that $5 a month contribution. Wonderful way to support us. I cannot say much more than that, except it's up to you, not up to us, to keep KPFT where it is. Keep KPFT going strong. And oh, by the way, for those of you that have been listening a long time, perhaps you know the words Lone Star Jukebox, hosted by Rick Egberto. He is back Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So we got help on the way, and we got good stuff on the air. And all we ask of you is to help us pay those bills so that you don't have to listen to those commercials and we don't have to run them. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Egberto, thank you. We're about
Thank you very much, Sandy.
two $10 a month pledges away from making our goal here this morning.
You heard that, guys? If I get 2 people to call with a $10 a month pledge, I've made my goal for this morning. Just need 2 people. Of course, I'd love to get 10 people to call with the $10 pledge and say, hey, we're ahead of the game. But so please give us a call right now. I'm waiting. 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, extension number 2 to be on air. Let's go to David. David, good morning, David. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, pretty good, Berto. I got to back up your previous commentary there. Was he really the station engineer?
Who are we speaking about? Sandy? No, Sandy is actually the manager of the station.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I was going to say, I've worked at a bunch of radio shows or stations for years. I was down there in 77, and I've rarely heard an engineer that could be so eloquent. And so I was just, you're really getting your money's worth if you've got an eloquent engineer. But the previous caller, did he really admit that he was just calling you to tweak you, just to mess with your mind?
Well, he calls himself the adversary to the crazy left, and I am the crazy left. Politics Done Right is the crazy left, but it's okay. I mean, let me say this. I have 2 audiences, right? I have an audience at 3 o'clock as well, and a lot of my 3 o'clock audience get very mad that I entertain people on the right or MAGA to come onto the show, and I point out that there are 2 reasons. One, I love people. I love the interaction with people, and I think dialogue is a good thing. And for others to see that you don't have to agree to have a positive dialogue or to even like each other, it's okay. But the second point is when people on the right call, David, and for those that make no sense, right? That means there are thousands out there that believe or hear the same things that they're hearing. So that person gives me the opportunity to go out there and set the record straight. As an engineer, what the first thing I always tell people is, I used to be just ones and zeros and math. 1 + 1 is equal to 2. But in the real world, there are times 1 + 1 equal 3, right? And the reason why is there are two different worlds, and we have to go where the people are. So when those people on the right with bad information call me, and again, there are people on the right that has good information too, but when bad information comes, it gives me that opportunity to expand on it. And there are listeners out there that's not calling. Remember, most people don't call you. Most people just are out there listening and absorbing. We get the opportunity to change their minds.
Yeah, my bigger point was that if there are people that go out of their way to be divisive, they're trying to split America. I mean, I'm more of an economist, and when you study currency speculators, they were the reason why World War I happened. People that went out of the way to divide nations so that they could bounce the currency. They could raise the exchange rate between France and Hungary and then cash in the difference. And they would take the reputations of whole nations and praise them and then curse them and curse them. And they were just about as evil as you could get, because everybody lost by it, everybody. And just this nasty S&M type of battering, intending to cause division in a nation or in the world. And the real reason I called today was, I remember last year, the legislature of Texas made a law saying that cities could not mandate water breaks and especially those that sit in the hot sun, people doing the farm work, doing all of the outdoor work, working on the roads, all of this. No water break in the state of Texas? Who in the hell came up with the idea that it was a good social policy to deny water in a hot day? Who came up with that? An S&M freak. And these guys are not loyal Americans. They're S&M freaks that are making fun with America and bouncing our currency. So I look at them as traitors.
I think you nailed, David. I think you nailed it. I look, but again, if you look at our political system today and what the functionary that we have, that is what we have right now. But it's not most of the people. It's just that most of the people, or a lot of the people, tend to follow psychopaths, right? There's something about psychopaths that we follow. The billionaire that didn't really earn his billion, but that's for another show. The billionaire that didn't earn it, we somehow revere them, right? But they're psychopaths. They're the folks who are able to acquire the excess labor, excess services from everybody else. But nobody thinks about it that way. Somehow they think it's great. But David, I gotta jump to anything else real quick, because I only have a few more minutes.
Everybody donate. It's a good station.
Thank you so kindly, my brother. Before I go to Harry, folks, please, I am, as Sandy said, I am two $10 a month contributions away from making my goal. I don't have anywhere close to my goal until those come in. So I ask you so kindly, could you give me a call at 713-526-5738, extension 1, and let's say the $5 a month contribution or $10 a month contribution, that gets us where we need to be. But by the way, we take any contribution, whatever you want. But again, we would love for you to become a sustainer. $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, whatever you can. Harry, real quick, Harry, I don't have a lot of time, so now I'm going to have to give you the short treatment. Thank you, my brother.
Okay, I'll say this real fast. There's nothing crazy about this show, the crazy laugh, nothing at all. Brian is wrong when he says those things about the mayor of politics done right. Johnny makes a lot of sense. Love to hear what he says. Love to hear what David just said. I like callers like that. And one other thing I was going to mention the other day, I was going to mention it yesterday, but I fell asleep and I didn't wake up in time to call this show. When I called Tuesday, it's White Robes and Broken Badges by John Mayer when they tried to assassinate Barack Obama. And this inmate had a run-in with this guy who was involved with the Ku Klux Klan, and they tried to assassinate this Warren Williams when he was let out of prison. It's a good read. I'd like to get that book. Tanya Mosley interviewed the guy, John Moore. But again, if people donate to KPFT, we got to keep this thing going. And the callers like Augie and Johnny and myself and other people are not left-wing nut jobs. We make a lot of sense, and we try to help Egberto out to get the truth out. and not
Thank
give it misinformation.
Harry, I'm glad that you said something very important.
Howard,
You help us out.
Neil Aquino, have a good day. Yeah,
Harry,
try to help out.
Harry, hold on. I just want to give you some kudos here. The callers are an integral part of the program, and yes, the callers offer information for us all. Thank you, Harry. Got to go. Let's go to Donald.
Hey, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother.
Guilty as charged. Yeah, I'm guilty as charged. Hey, what I do in my bedroom is my business. It's my business. That's all I got to say. I'll holler at you later. Have a good one.
Thank you, brother. You know, Donald, Neil, Donald has to call in here. He has to call in here all of the time. I want to thank Karim. Thank you so kindly for your contribution. We could not do this without you, my friend. We could not do it without you, Karim. All right, let's get some more calls in. 713-526-5738. Again, 713-526-5738. Extension number 1 to contribute. I'm looking to see, is somebody going to give me $10 a month at $10 a month for, getting us there. $5 a month for getting us there. Neil, do you want to say something a little? We're going to go to 7:15. So is there anything that you want to add?
Great. Well, I just want to, encourage everyone to contribute. And every Thursday, I'm here with my Houston Democracy Project segment because I wanted to add a specific local focus. So we have talked about so many local topics over the last few months since I've been on. We've discussed the protest ordinance at length, Sheila Jackson Lee's race, Houston City Council races, and so we're really glad to have that focus here and Egberto's fact checking and loyalty to the callers and is the same off air as it is on air, and we encourage you to contribute and keep this forum going.
Look, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1. You can do it right now. Whatever contribution you want. And I didn't advertise this one before because I think I can only mention a particular whatever 2 or 3 times within the hour. So here's the deal. If you want, we're having coffee with Egberto, $250. That's just a contribution. It's a gimmick, yes, but I come drive whatever part of Houston and we sit down and drink a cup of coffee. I have folks in the chat that have done that where, hey, I got some extra money this month. I'm going to give KPFT $250. Egberto, are you going to come and have some coffee with me? Yes, I will. 713-526-5738. Sandy, come on in.
Thank you, Egberto. That's a wonderful thing, coming and meeting Egberto for coffee and talking to him face to face. And you will find that off the air, as was mentioned before, he's as genuine as he is on the air. We don't pull any punches at KPFT. These are your friends and neighbors coming to talk to you. They power the KPFT. They sit behind the microphone. This is not somebody imported wearing a suit from Chicago doing the programming. These are your friends and neighbors. This is Houston Community Radio that is broadcast to the entire globe. Many of you are listening online right now. Those of you listening online, well, you're already kpft.org more than likely. Then go ahead and click that donate button if you choose to do so, and throw in that $10 a month donation for a bag of coffee beans, a 1-pound bag, and a Caroline Street mug, $120 coffee combo, and that'll keep us moving forward. And again, we're a little bit short of our goal this morning. During Fund Drive, we're going to be talking to you for a few more minutes each day on this program, encouraging you to join in with so many other people over the 54 and a half years that have come forward and donated a little bit here and a little bit there. Again, we have a very generous person in our orbit that's putting a $50 bill. You say sustainer, $5 a month, there's a $50 bill on top of that. You get that coffee combo at $10 a month, there's a $50 bill on top of that. And that adds up at the end of the drive. Folks, we've had 3 people step up this morning, Kareem, Brian, and Andre. Won't you join them? Won't you be the next person to power KPFT into the future? As the media landscape narrows more and more, and we see these ginormous corporations owning more of the media landscape, and if you go from city to city on, say, like a network media source, you will find the same messages delivered verbatim by different people. It's not independent. It's not local. It's none of the things that KPFT is. Where I'm asking kindly this morning to help power this into the future. There are many people depending on the next donation. In fact, everybody listening is depending on the next donation to keep us exactly where we are. 713-526-5738. Hit option 1 to donate, or go to kpft.org and click donate. Those are your options for powering this station. You could also mail us a check at 4504 Caroline Street, Houston 77004. It's another way to fund the station. So many ways to fund it. One KPFT. We're counting on our listeners, as we always do, as it's been for those 54 and a half years this morning, as we kick off our summer cruise. Egberto, are you going to sign up for that boat ride with Nuri?
Yes. Thank you, Sandy. Anyway, this is KPFT 90.1 FM Houston. We're at the top of the hour. Folks, please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I want to tell you guys something. When we tell you that we listen to you, and Neil says, oh, I wanted to have some local programming, etc. I needed to have more local perspective as well. And you know, you can, when you're doing these kind of programs, you can sort of get insular sometimes. You are the ones who told me, you guys that are listening right now, many of you sent emails and said, hey, you need to have a local twang on the show. You need to keep this going, and we need to have some local stuff. And I said, okay, I know the right person to go to right away, and that is Neil Aquino. Neil Aquino from the Houston Democracy Project, who is out every Tuesday in front of John Cornyn's office doing what we do here in Houston. He's out at City Council. He's out. He's doing all this work out there. And I said, that's the person I would like to have join us on this show. This is great. So I want the audience to know we listen. You can't go to KRBE or K-Light or whatever and say, hey, I would like you to do this and believe they're going to listen to you. No. We do. When we have callers come and complain about something, we evaluate the complaint and say, you're right about that. We got to make a change here. So, this is really community radio, and not only that, radio that takes your position into consideration. So go ahead and please, I ask you kindly, I am short quite a bit, folks, and we need to raise a lot more money in the next 10 minutes. So I want to ask you kindly again, please give me a call at 713-526-5738. Let us start the fund drive with Politics Done Right here on KPFT on the right foot. 713, well, or maybe I should say on the left foot. 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or kpft.org. Please remember to say this for Politics Done Right. Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.